The number on the scale does not determine your quality as a human. The number on the scale does not determine your success. The number on the scale does not determine whether you're good or bad. And the number on the scale should not determine whether you deserve to be happy. So a couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that I was going to do a few more mental health related videos on this channel. Partly because I think a lot of people could benefit from just this conversation in general, and also partly because I actually enjoy doing these videos and I actually enjoy being able to kind of share and open up this conversation online, utilizing my platform for something more than simply just workout analysis, which although it's fun and I do enjoy it, it'll be nice to utilize it for other benefits as well. I've spoken about Linda Sun, Stephanie Buttermore, and I've discussed their relationships with food and relationships with food in general. And I figured this is actually quite a good opportunity to further discuss relationships with food, following on from those videos that I have previously mentioned, and also stemming from the fact that unfortunately a lot of the TFL community are currently battling with or have previously battled with either disordered eating or eating disorders. So I'd like to be able to talk about something and maybe just share an opinion, encourage the conversation, and see if I can get other people to engage in that conversation as well. Obviously, blanket trigger warning is going to be thrown out there. I will be discussing triggering topics such as food, relationships with food, disordered eating, and eating disorders. So obviously, if anything that I'm speaking about or mentioning triggers you to any degree, please do not continue with this video. It's certainly not worth it. My oversized forehead will return to your YouTube screen next Monday, so it's not like you're missing out. Linda Sun is the first name that comes to my mind personally when I think about relationships with food within the fitness industry. Linda Sun is probably in the title, might even well be in the thumbnail, because she is just, again, the catalyst for conversation. This is not about her, this is not about her content, this is not me bashing her or anything like that. I'm simply saying this video idea stemmed from a recent video of Linda's that came up where she speaks about the perfect diet and also cheat days. For vulnerability's sake and just to get out there, I'd like to speak about briefly my relationship with food. I have never suffered with an eating disorder. I've never been diagnosed with an eating disorder. I've been diagnosed with many things, but not an eating disorder. I will admit, and I will hold my hands up and say that I truly believe my eating is disordered. I believe my relationship with food is not what one would typically consider healthy, because I place a lot of value on food. I look at food as numerical value. How much protein does this have? How many calories does this have? I can't eat the food that I enjoy because it doesn't help me reach my calorie requirement properly. So for example, my favorite food is probably sushi. I eat a lot of calories for the sake of building muscle and because I'm trying to get bigger. Therefore, sushi doesn't necessarily align with the many thousands of calories I need to eat. Therefore, I will actually stay away from my favorite foods and eat more calorie dense foods to make me hitting that calorie requirement on a daily basis that little bit easier. So I sacrifice enjoyment for the sake of function. So it's the argument of function over flavor, which again, I don't think is particularly healthy, but it makes my life a little bit easier, even if potentially a little bit less enjoyable. One of the big things, I would say my biggest thing is, if I don't reach my calorie requirement or have failed to reach my kind of targets for the day through food, I feel like a failure. I feel bad in myself. It causes me to feel like I'm smaller, to feel like I'm weaker, and to feel like I'm not doing enough. That then causes me to feel really insecure about my body. That causes me to feel really insecure about my work ethic, and that causes me to feel really insecure about what I'm trying to achieve. When I step on the scales and I see the body weight has gone down unintentionally, because let's say I'm in a massing phase, so I'm trying to gain weight and my weight goes down, I feel really insecure that I'm smaller, that I'm weaker, that I'm regressing. I feel really insecure that I'm failing. I get anxious stepping on the scales when I've had a bad week of food, where I have one day where I didn't go quite to my calories. I was maybe 100 under, something minor that would make no difference. If I have a bad day, I'm too scared to get on the scales. I'm like, I can't mentally face what's about to happen. Whether the number goes up or down, I can logically say it means nothing for my worth as a person. It doesn't change who I am, but to me it means a lot. And to me, if it goes down, I feel like I've regressed. If it goes up, I either don't feel anything at all, which is surprising, or I feel a bit of satisfaction that I'm achieving something. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. It obviously goes far deeper than that and far beyond that, but that is simply, like I said, the tip of the iceberg. And then you look at influencers like Linda Sun, like Stephanie Buttermore to a degree, and I think they place a lot of value on their relationship with food, which I don't always necessarily think is a bad thing, but you have to understand intention. So Linda often speaks about like perfect diets, cheat days, and all these things for clickbait purposes. I get that it attracts people to her videos. The one thing I've always mentioned that I deem to be potentially problematic about Linda is that she often speaks about these things like she's got this new lease of life when it comes to food. Her new approach to food is so healthy and so great, but then the next video it's like she's back to square one and it's almost like the same story over and over again, which I question, is this due to the fact that progress isn't linear, or is this potentially because you don't really know what you're trying to achieve, or potentially just looking to create content? I don't know, I'm just spitballing. And I think a lot of people online portray themselves as having a really healthy relationship with food, when I think the fact of the matter is this: a lot of influencers online who are portraying this might well be lying to you and might well actually have a really unhealthy relationship with food. A lot of people unfortunately do eat for content. A lot of people do unfortunately lie about what they're eating. A lot of people do unfortunately pretend that their relationship with food is healthy when it may well not be. A lot of people will label foods as good or bad and then lead you to believe there are such things as good or bad food, when I don't believe that's necessarily the case. There are certainly foods that are more macronutrient dense in some areas, and also foods that are micronutrient dense. Some may deem micronutrient dense foods to be good and foods that aren't particularly micronutrient dense to be bad. But again, that's not the case. Vegetables and fruits and whatnot, very micronutrient dense, therefore they must all be good. But then rice and pasta may not necessarily be as micronutrient dense, so therefore is that bad? You can't necessarily quantify what good or bad is when it comes to food. And like I said, I don't necessarily believe there is a good or bad. I think ultimately food is more or less of something. More micronutrient dense, less micronutrient dense. More fat dense, less fat dense. More protein dense, less protein dense. What determines good or bad? Does the process in which the food is created, so if it's more processed, does that make it bad? Or does the fact that it's a higher fat content, does that make it bad? Again, when you start looking at things as good or bad, I think ultimately it then leads to an element of guilt where, oh, I can't eat that because it's bad, therefore I'm guilty for doing so. When I don't believe that's the case whatsoever. I think food has its place. I think food that you enjoy should be consumed, but food that serves your purpose and serves your goal should also be consumed. I think ultimately when it comes to relationships with food, I think you need to eat for what your body needs you to eat for. Do you want to eat for some enjoyment that's also going to help you achieve a weight gain or weight loss goal? You can certainly achieve that. Does that mean you have to cut out your favorite foods because they're typically deemed to be bad by the influencers online? Absolutely not. As soon as you label things as good or bad, you then start placing unhealthy relationships onto those things and then almost indicate or imply to yourself that having something, it makes you more or less of a person, a better or a worse person. If you consume only bad foods in your eyes, does that mean you're a bad person? And the reality is, I think a lot of times influencers will push good or bad foods. There may be an underlying message of whatever the food they're pushing as good could align with a diet or similar that they're trying to sell you. If you eat 5,000 calories of broccoli or 5,000 calories of McDonald's, you are probably still going to be in a surplus and probably still going to gain weight. If you eat 500 calories of broccoli and 500 calories of McDonald's, you're still probably going to be in a deficit and you're still probably going to lose weight. To gain weight, you probably need to be in a surplus. To lose weight, you probably need to be in a deficit. How you achieve those things is up to you. Consuming more micronutrient dense foods may definitely give you more energy. Consuming heavily processed foods may definitely leave you feeling a bit lethargic, but that's also going to be determined by the calorie state you're in if you're in a deficit or a surplus. But that doesn't determine whether the food is good or bad, but it simply just determines how that food might make you feel, and potentially, depending on the quantity, what that food might contribute to achieving, be that weight gain or weight loss. Then you delve into the realm of unhealthy relationships a bit further and you look at when influencers speak about how eating certain foods that they deem to be bad makes them feel worse about themselves. Then you question, is that because the food itself is making you feel worse, or is that because you've psychologically attached an unhealthy relationship to that food, which is then leading you to believe that you should feel worse about yourself, therefore then feeling worse about yourself, further highlighting the fact that their relationship with that food or with food in general may well be problematic and may well need addressing. Influencers shouldn't tell you how you should or shouldn't eat. Food should not determine whether you feel good or bad about yourself. Consuming food should not result in you feeling guilty. Food is there for a reason. Food is there for us to survive, because without food we can't move, we can't live, we can't exist. How much food you consume might well be determined by your goals. If you want to gain weight, you might have to consume more food. If you want to lose weight, you might have to consume less food. But I believe things may well start to become problematic when you start attaching good or bad labels to food based on how you perceive them, potentially giving them more value than they deserve. When at the end of the day, there is no such thing in my eyes as good or bad food. And I don't believe that food should ever lead you feeling guilty about yourself because you've consumed something you enjoy or consumed something that you believe you shouldn't have consumed. But why shouldn't you have consumed it? Who says you shouldn't consume that? I mention this often, social media is a highlight reel. People will create things and show you things that make them look the best. I will show you the best set of my bench press and not the worst set of my bench press, because why wouldn't I show you the best? People will show you the best side of their eating habits, the best food that they're creating, the best best message they can promote with food, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they believe it themselves or they actually align with what they're promoting. A lot of influencers do have this unhealthy relationship with food, and a lot of influencers in that unhealthy state feel like they're able to tell you how you should or shouldn't eat. A lot of influencers may actually leave you feeling guilty about what you consumed because they deem it to be good or bad, when the reality is this: food should never make you feel guilty. Food should never make you feel like less or more of a person. Food should never make you feel like you're lazy. Food should never make you feel like you're worthless, and food should never make you feel like you're a failure. Your body weight shouldn't do that for you either. The number on the scale does not determine your quality as a human. The number on the scale does not determine your success. The number on the scale does not determine whether you're good or bad, and the number on the scale should not determine whether you deserve to be happy. The thing to remember, which I think I often forget myself: your quality and worth as a human is not determined by how much you weigh, nor is it determined by what you're eating. If you believe your quality and your worth is determined by either of those things, I think sometimes that's when you've got to look at yourself and say, is this problematic? Which is why I can acknowledge for myself that my relationship is problematic, because I actually believe my worth is determined by those things, even though it shouldn't be. I can sit here and promote the message that I wish I could believe myself, and I'm not expecting you to believe it either. But I know that what I'm saying is better than how I'm feeling. And although I may not necessarily believe it now, perhaps I'll believe it one day, and perhaps you will too. You need to eat in the manner that makes you happy. You need to eat in the manner that's most sustainable for you and your goals. And you need to eat in a manner that allows you to live a happy and healthy lifestyle in which food doesn't consume you. I know it's not that easy, and I know it's not that simple to achieve, but it's something we can work towards achieving, and something that I know I need to work towards achieving myself. You are worth more than food makes you feel, and you are worth more than your body weight makes you feel. Although easy to forget, sometimes a reminder can help. No common question of the week this week, because I haven't actually prepared one. That's my bad. I do apologise, but it will return next week. So forgive me there. I will do better. It's been a bit of a hectic period these last couple of weeks, following on from the whole therapy situation, where, in all honesty, it turns out the potential issue may well be much deeper than I thought it was, and much more, I think, severe, for lack of a better term, than simply just BPD. But again, I may cover that in the future at some point if people want to hear it, because I said I would be honest about my journey, so I'm going to be. Sometimes I just don't know if people want to hear it, but we'll see. It depends. But until then, thank you for tolerating me. Thank you for tolerating my endless rambles about things that I just like rambling about, and thank you for tolerating the video.